Hello, everyone, and welcome to a wonderful episode of Shitfic Podcast. I'm your host...
Season 1 finale. Oh, I was trying to be...
I'm your host, Michael.
Season 1 finale.
And the one interrupting me is your co-host, Christopher Beal. Chris, say hi.
Hi, I am the Great Clown.
So,
Christopher.
If you've never listened to Shitfic before, the whole idea of the podcast is that Chris and I read our old shitty writings from when we were young, when we were in elementary school, high school, when we were in early college, at any point throughout our history, really. Point is, we're creatives.
It could be right now. It could be right now that we pull our shitty
Honestly, yeah.
from.
I mean, I write things still. So, you know, and they're still bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole point is that as
Exactly.
creatives, we learn and we grow from our writings and or whatever creative thing you're into. But today is a very special episode because it's the big 1-0. It's the big number 10. And if
Season finale.
the season finale, if you've listened to any of our previous episodes, you might have heard us mention that we have a producer named Sydne. Now, without Sydne, this whole podcast would not be happening. So we thought for our big season 1 finale that we would actually read some writings from our producer. And she could finally, after such a long time, have a voice on this podcast. So Sydne, say hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, give me a little bit more than that.
I don't even know what to say. This is why I'm not the one hosting the podcast.
You're selling yourself great here.
Hi, everyone. I am producer Sydne. I am the one who kind of came up with the concept and pushed Chris into doing this and then dragged Michael along.
She deals with our bullshit. She edits. She dances for us sometimes. She does a dance for us.
Chris dances for me, though. Chris dances for me in our car rides. But yeah, so again, Sydne, we're happy that you could actually finally be on the podcast. You've been editing it for these last, 9 episodes, and you'll be editing this one, even though you're on it as well.
Yeah.
But as you are aware, as you have listened and been in the background of every episode, we always like to introduce our guests, let them give a little bit of a backstory, things like that. So before we start reading your piece, tell us about who you are, Sydne. Tell us your backstory, your life story.
Who are you?
Give us a full biographical film about you.
Please know your traumas. Please include every personal detail. If you can have your address, that'd be really nice.
Who would play you in the movie of you?
Oh God, I don't know the answer to that. I feel like I have the bio kind of down. I grew up in Southwest Michigan. I was always really into reading. I didn't really start writing until I kind of got obsessed with Harry Potter.
Can you speak to the J.K. Rowling situation?
I was just about to say,
Miss, please comment. I'm joking.
I know.
I'm joking.
I'm
Everyone.
waiting for you to
Everyone,
finish
come to
so
bed.
I can
Come back
talk.
to bed, Sydne. Come back to bed.
Did we all sleep with you? Is that
It was
the,
a great
canon
joke.
of your mind?
That's my favorite phrase, is come back to bed. Oh, come back to bed, baby.
I was actually just about
Let's
to
not fight.
comment on I accept the story and I still love the books, but I do not accept the author. And it's probably one of the few times where I'm the death of the author idea. I'm willing to no. I'm divorcing the author from her work, even though a lot of times so much of the author is intrinsically part of the work.
Do you pirate her works now?
I
Please confess to your crime on camera.
I haven't, basically since the whole thing with her response to the trans community, I've not read anything from her. So that was when I started writing fan fiction, though. I was obsessed with Harry Potter. Wasn't even fan fiction. I didn't discover that until a little bit later. It was more of just my own world with some of her elements in there. Which will come back when we talk about this piece in particular. Then went to Columbia College Chicago and studied screenwriting and television writing. Then worked at Broadway in Chicago for 2 years where I met both of you. I actually trained Michael. I don't think I trained Chris.
Yes, Sydne was my trainer at Broadway in Chicago, and now she is my boss on Shitfic. So things have not changed for years.
And then moved out to LA right before a pandemic hit. So, perfect timing as usual. And now I've just been writing many things and editing many things and hoping at least a couple of them are good. Oh, I do have the two things that Lord help me if I don't know if they're actually good, but they were accepted and they are being produced, where I've had 2 theatrical horror plays produced by UFest. But I'm excited and optimistic that I have 2 other theatrical horror plays being produced in 2021 by Memoriam Development, which is weird because I hated horror films and I hate horror stories until I really liked them and was apparently decent at writing them.
So again, that's kind of the whole lesson though of this podcast. So we're gonna read this short story that you wrote?
It's actually chapter 1 excerpt of a novel.
Gotcha. Well, again, still so the lesson here though is that this will probably be bad as it's submitted on Shitfic. But you grew and now you've got 2 things that are like rocking and rolling. So like that's the whole lesson of this podcast.
And I remain the only person to ever appear on this podcast to not have something produced. So
Christopher, I will say I tried to get you to submit to UFest.
I mean, I shut up, but I don't know. I can't write horror. It'll just be like, oh, I got diarrhea, and the diarrhea was a ghost.
Well, I think we should probably get into our story here. So before we start reading it, Sydney, tell us a little bit of what this story is about, what inspired it, how you came up with it, different things. Just give us the backstory of this story.
So I'm a little embarrassed because I wrote this about freshman year of high school. I very distinctly remember giving this to a friend to read some of it and talking to her about the idea because we were both into Twilight.
Literary masterpiece.
I believe Breaking Dawn had come out that year, and it was kind of, I don't know if it was like I had vampires on the brain, but part of this was one of those things, kind of like what I did with Harry Potter, where it was like, okay, well, why didn't she do this? Why didn't she do this? So this was still a romance, but it was like going to like eventual slow burn, like haters to lovers romance. But the main plot was actually like action, because I had a dream one night, and I still kind of remember this dream because which is wild. I'm seeing through the main character's eyes. I'm in this like very like snowy landscape, like almost this like evil villain's like giant cabin. And I remember like footprints in the snow and tracking those. So I think it became this idea where this girl gets turned.
Wait, she's getting turned?
She turned into a vampire.
Oh, okay. I was like, she's
getting
turned, is she? She's getting turned. She's tilted like a pinball machine. Continue.
And so it's this girl who was always meant to be a vampire, and it's because she's gonna like stop this guy.
Is this canon in the Twilight series? Or is this your own knockoff Twilight brand? Is this in the same universe, though?
No.
So this is like 50 Shades of Grey, essentially. Yes.
Except
lovely.
I don't think
I am excited.
Better, but I think it's worse in a very different way.
Good. Not better, but worse.
I feel like that should be the name of this podcast. Worse in a very different way.
But the like driving plot was eventually this evil scientist guy who I can't remember, but I think he was trying to turn all the world into like half human, half vampire.
As you do.
It was like the end of the world, and so like this girl has to like stop this guy, and she's the only one who can stop him. I don't even think remember giving her any special powers, but she like could stop this guy, and either he wanted to wipe out all vampires, which is bad for our protagonist, but in hindsight I'm like, that's not a terrible thing.
That's just Van Helsing.
Or he wanted to turn everyone into this like weird, like genetically perfect half vampire, half human thing.
And that's just Hitler.
Yeah.
So really, this guy's not great.
Will we meet him? Is he Derek?
No. He does not become relevant. It probably would have been 30 chapters, and then you're like, oh yeah, here's plot.
It's very much like Twilight in that way. They literally don't even meet, like, the evil vampires until, like, 3/4 of the way through.
Well, should we go ahead and start reading it? Wait, do we have a name for this? Because all it says up top is chapter 1. Is there a name for this piece?
Nope, I did not give this. It literally just says vampires, because I don't think I ever came up with a working title.
Well, then we'll just call this Sydne's Vampires, chapter 1. So, chapter 1 of Sydne's Vampires.
Let's get into some shit fic. Yeah.
I feel like the coughing gets longer and longer each time he does that.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
You're starting?
Yep, I'm going to start, and then I will popcorn whoever I feel in the moment. Chapter 1. He leaned in, and I was ready. I was ready to kiss Derek. It was our first date.
Chris is ready to kiss Derek.
All right. It was our first date. My first date without my parents looming over my shoulder. They are way too overprotective, so every date I've had up to my 18th birthday has been supervised. Looking back, I wish they had been...
What?
Yeah, that's
up until 18?
That's really weird. I don't think I've ever been on a date where, like, the parents were like, we're gonna watch you the whole time.
Well, like...
I mean, like, I know those for, like, when you're, like, 13, but literally, like, when you're 17 and you can drive...
I wasn't allowed to date until I was 16. And that didn't matter because no one asked me out except for one person.
I was gonna say I was allowed to date at any age. It just so happened that no one wanted to date me.
3 lonely people on a pod.
I don't think you can claim that when he's living with someone.
Oh yeah, he got out.
If it makes you feel better, Chris, I consider our car rides mini dates.
Aww. Oh my god, can we share a bank account?
Let's start with our...
I will not contribute to it, but
let's start with our first kiss first and go from there.
Alright. Looking back, I wish they had been there that night. I barely knew Derek. In fact, I met him earlier that day at the mall. He came over and started talking to me and then asked me out. Derek was hot, funny, and charming. It was all I needed to know.
I like that you didn't define what hot means. I like that you were just like, Derek was hot. Whatever hot means to you, that's what Derek fucking looked like.
Yeah.
Imagine the hottest guy you know. That's Derek.
That's Derek.
Yep. Alright, he leaned in and for a second kissed me. Then he moved closer as though he was going to kiss me even longer. That's when I felt his teeth sink into my neck. To think
Is this at Auntie Anne's? Is this at the mall still? I mean, honestly, if I saw 2 teenagers biting each other, I'd be like, it's just the goths.
I've seen 2 teenagers biting each other at the mall. Let's be honest.
You know, I'd be like, oh, kids.
Can I just say, I pictured this scene, like, at night, like, at somebody's doorstep, but you can tell this was not written. None of this was, like, explained. It was just all still in my head. To think I had admired his perfectly white teeth. I tried to pull away, but then the world began to spin and all went black. I fell right into his arms, and he swiftly carried me away from the life I knew.
How does she know he carried her away if she's passed out?
Well, because...
It's past tense.
So,
or is it?
That's the problem with this. Everything is, like, present tense and past tense, because I wanted it to be in present tense, but I was clearly, like, telling it from past.
Live your dreams.
Tenses
to write in past tense.
Alright, Popcorn Chris.
It is I, continuing, Vampire Sink, My Dark Twisted Fantasy by Sydne Gernaat. Okay, let's see. 7 days later, I wake up. Even though it is more like coming out of a trance, it looks like I am now in a hospital room, surrounded by people. I don't feel any pain. Is she
in a hospital room, or does it just look like she's in a hospital room? What does that mean?
Is this the Cullen's house?
Also, once again, this is one of those things where it's like being told past tense, but she's also like looking around the room in the moment of like,
exactly.
maybe I'm in a hospital room. I don't know, but I do know because I'm telling you the story.
She's so fucking delirious. She's like, I don't know if it's the past, and I'm thinking about, or I'm literally living this moment. Damn, this is good writing. I don't feel any pain, just different. What? I don't feel any pain. I'm just different. Well, I get. Oh, it makes sense, I guess. But no. Anyways, I don't feel any pain, just different. So I assume I may have passed out for some reason.
You literally just said you passed out when he bit you.
And you literally got fucking knifed in the neck. You got bitten. I was like, I guess for some reason I passed out. I don't remember, even though I just told you the reason why I passed out.
She's like, it'd be like if she like went in the woods and was like, I touched poison ivy and rubbed it all over me, and then somehow got this rash. I don't really know where it came from.
Only when I look for my parents, they aren't there. In fact, the only person I recognize is Derek. Everyone is staring at me. Smiles on every model-like face.
Once again, I like that you don't describe them. You just say model-like. You're like, look, I don't know what a hot person is. So, you imagine it.
You're giving me so much credit.
I look at Derek again, and the last time I saw him comes flooding back. My blood turned cold, and my eyes widen in terror. I am afraid and angry, but for the most part confused. Suddenly, a woman begins pushing her way through the crowd yelling. It's a crowd? Well, I guess it... Also, why would they just say nothing? You know? Like, they have to know that that is the most disconcerting sight.
Also, why are they all there? If she's been passed out for 7 days, have they just all been waiting for 7 days? Like...
I feel like I had some lore in mind where it's like, no, they knew when she got bit. They knew it takes 7 days for her to come to and, like, complete the transformation. So they know to be there. They want to see
as long as it took for God
I like to imagine
create
they've just
world.
been waiting there, and they're like, we have no idea when she's going to wake up, but, like, we have nothing else to do.
Move! I'm the director. Get out of the way. Madison, you do that again, I'll send you to Wyatt's camp. Yes, I can do that. She's so sassy. She finally reaches the front of the bed. For such a commanding voice, she was not what I expect. She wore a professional pantsuit that complements her dark skin tone and brown eyes. She looks firmly built, yet surprisingly short, like everyone else. A model.
There you go. I like that you actually gave a description there.
And you have to make sure we all know she's a goddamn model.
Because vampires have to be pretty.
If I've learned anything from YA fiction, it's that everyone is gorgeous, but doesn't know that they're gorgeous and needs someone else to tell them that they're gorgeous.
Yep.
Hello, Paige Lanson. Nice to see you awake. I'm Sarah Vega, the director of this camp. It's a camp? Where she went to vampire summer camp?
I also like that the exposition here is real. Hello, Paige, last name Lanson. I am Sarah, last name Vega.
Like we all do.
Yeah.
What camp? Where am I? What's going on? Turning her intense brown eyes to Derek, she clearly states, You didn't tell her anything! What, like while she was passed out? Oh my. Sarah was only around 5 feet tall compared to Derek's 6 feet. Ooh. Yet he shrank before her. I wasn't even sure I would do it. It was all instinct. Yeah, right. I knew you were gonna bite at her the moment you saw her. At the fucking mall. You saw her buying jorts at the Gap and you said, that's the fucking woman. I'm gonna bite her fucking head off. I just feel it. Says a snarky redhead. By now, my head is starting to pound and I am getting more irritated by the minute. Okay, everyone, be quiet and just leave. Except you, Derek. This is your mess. You clean it up, said Sarah. And I am not sure, but I think she called me a mess. Great. Beach, you just got mauled. And you're like, wow. Was that comment necessary? While I nearly died and have been in a coma for 7 days? I'm like, okay, but the mess
I draw the line at being called a mess.
Things are going great for Paige.
Very good. For Paige Lanson. Paige, last name Lansing. Is she gonna find a mirror soon so we can figure out what she looks like?
That's coming.
Oh, how did I know? I'm fucking Nostradamus, baby. Slowly, people trickle out of the room, and then finally, we are alone. Okay, now please don't freak out and just hear us through. We are all vampires. What? The most convincing dialogue. I have had enough, so sitting up, I said. Also, this is not correct format.
Oh no, terrible.
Yeah, what the hell is I have had enough, so sitting up, I said. Like, what?
Grammar did not exist.
Yeah. It's just like randomly the dialogue tags are in a different paragraph than the actual thing they say. It's great. Okay, we're done here. I try to stand up, but Derek just gently pushes me back down. Now hear me out, commands Derek, leaving me no other option but to sit and listen. Oh my god. Oh lord. Popcorn, Michael. You right. Get this full...
In a nutshell, this is what she told me. Derek is a vampire who decided to bite me, also turning me into a vampire. Trust me when I say this is not as fun as Twilight makes it seem.
Ooh! So now... Self-commentary.
Meta! Some roasting on Twilight. So now I will forever be 18, never changing, frozen in time. I can drink blood. That sounds pleasant, but human food is an option. It is not as filling as blood, only helps keep energy levels up. Wait, what? I can drink blood. That sounds pleasant? No, it does not.
That was sarcastic. She's supposed to be this, like, snotty, sarcastic...
Where's the italics then, Sydney?
Yeah, see, I totally read that as she was like, I can drink blood now, and, like, that's cool, but, I can also still eat broccoli, and that's fine as well.
You can tell this is just so much exposition, and I don't want to fucking deal with the world building.
Yeah, I like
like
that you didn't commit to this being like a vampire thing, because like one of the drawbacks of being a vampire in a lot of fiction is that you have to drink blood, and so they always have to find sort of a source of blood, that type of stuff. And this one, you're just like, we can drink blood, but also, like, fuck it. We can still be normal people, too, and just eat normal people food. There's no drawback or really difference at all to being a vampire in terms of our food options.
And, I love it in my books where on the second page, there's just a full page of exposition that's a plot dump. I would have hate to learn this through, like, witty dialogue or anything.
Knowing young me, this 100%, it would not have been witty dialogue. It would have just been very similar regurgitation of this in dialogue.
In dialogue form.
Well, let's continue our dialogue dump, shall we? Mostly we do eat human food, but only when animals, our main choice of blood, is running low to prevent interest from humans.
I love skunk blood. Skunk blood's the best.
Human food is not our favorite option because we can barely taste it, since apparently we have increased eyesight, hearing, and sense of smell, but it's more difficult to taste or feel. Our skin is thicker, similar to a wall of bricks, so it is tough to feel through that. We are also incredibly fast and strong and can live through almost anything. Our two weaknesses are sunlight, which will make us burn, immediately destroying us. Anything that goes through our heart also works. You know what? Anything that goes through my heart will also kill me. So that is not a unique vampire
us
weakness.
And the vampires.
I like that she's like, my weakness is sunlight, which is like, oh, okay, that's a vampire weakness. And then the next thing is, if anything stabs me through the fucking heart, I will just die. But that is only unique to me being a vampire. Before I became a vampire, you could stab me in the heart all you want. I'd be fine.
Oh my goodness.
Anything that goes to the heart also works. Bullets, steak, knife, you name it. Because of the whole sunlight thing, we are currently living in the middle of a frozen forest in northern Canada. One living option is in a camp like this one, where a director keeps order and everyone follows their rules. There are around 1,000 vampires left total. Most are in Canada. Some roam around. Derek does both.
Canada, the land of the vampires. Why not Norway? Why not Isn't there like a place in Norway where it's like sunlight every 2 hours?
I feel like this was an unintentional pull from Twilight because they have like Canadian vampires. So I think I was thinking about that.
This is a conservation camp. They're like baby turtles. You may not come into this forest because the vampires are breeding this season.
This also is just so much nonsense at the beginning. So much information we as the audience are being given.
Yeah.
It's like, make sure you take notes, everyone. I will not be explaining the plot again.
Derek does both with his red-haired friend, Tiffany, and another girl, Brittany. No hair color mentioned for Brittany. It's only important that we know that Tiffany has red hair. Brittany,
she was
the
snarky
God.
redhead. She was the snarky
I'm aware. I picked that up. I just like that no one else, their hair color does not matter.
You can pick whatever you want for
we
everyone
will,
else.
because, my only way of describing people for very long and still to this day is usually eye color, hair color.
And another girl, Brittany. Hence why he met me at the mall around humans. Big rule here. Keep a low profile and don't interact with humans unless it's unavoidable.
Like you're at the Gap and you see a girl across the way and you say, wow, I love your jeggings.
And then I'm going to bite you.
Do you think I could take you to the Auntie Anne's at some point?
Okay, hold on, Chris. I know
this
you're doing
is an emergency.
a bit. I know you're doing a bit here, Chris, but I'd really like to read this next line because it's some nonsense bullshit.
Terrible.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, and my parents? Well, they think I'm dead. Killed by an explosive that went off while I was at the movies.
Oh, and my parents thing? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Did not
oh, my
age
God.
well. Did not age well.
What? Yeah, like what is... I can't... I don't even know how to respond to that, of just how nonchalantly she's like, my parents think I'm dead now.
He just calmly explained that to me. I mean, I guess, like, there's some finality there. I would just been like, your daughter, we've brought her to this summer camp. It's a lot of fun.
And she can never leave.
You're gonna see her again.
So don't worry about it.
You know how,
She's
like,
so
some
alive.
people go to summer camp? Your daughter's at life camp. Continuing. Apparently, my body was destroyed beyond recognition. Isn't that lovely? Here is the biggest bombshell to me. I can never have children, and my entire future will most likely be spent here doing whatever I want. I am angry. No, I'm pissed. I feel like she should not have led with the, or ended with the doing whatever I want part.
Yeah,
like,
no, it took away a lot of the sting of like, yeah, like your dream of your future is gone, but you can do whatever you want.
Also, do whatever you want feels a little not true, considering you have to stay in this one shitty camp in northern Canada for the rest of your life. You know, I wouldn't exactly call that doing whatever you want.
You, everything you took from me. I screamed, Derek. Everything. I'm going to assume that was I screamed at Derek. Everything makes perfect sense, and I hate it. He's calm as if he doesn't care.
What? It makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. You suddenly realize vampires exist, and you're like, yeah, this is all clicking for me. This tracks.
I have worked so hard so I can go to college and get a decent job and get married, then have a family, and you took it away from me. I'll never see my parents again. Sarah looks slightly alarmed now. Paige, please. He could have killed you. You're lucky to be alive. Said a surprised Sarah, but I just gave a harsh laugh. Hold on. That is super victim. That's like, hey, this guy tried to kill you and failed, but look on the bright side. You could be dead.
Also,
so, like,
did they blow up a movie theater?
Yeah,
did they blow up a movie theater? Did they Did they just randomly bomb a movie theater just to be like, oh well?
That's the
She's
thing
gone.
that I was like, after I read that, I'm like, ooh, girl did not think that through.
It's like they killed 15 families trying to watch Finding Nemo, all for the goddamn sake of Paige Lanson.
But again, like, Paige, please, he could have killed you. You're lucky to be alive. Like, that's just such a bullshit line. I don't even know how to respond to it. Again, it's like, I committed a crime against you. It could have been worse. So honestly, you should thank me that I didn't commit a worse crime towards you. Like, that's what that line is saying. Lucky? You think I'm lucky? I would almost rather be dead. Everyone's silent, but I'm panting from the rush of anger and adrenaline. All right, Popcorn Sydney.
Finally, Derek speaks up. I know it isn't fair, but I promise later it will make sense. I don't believe it.
She said that she did. She just said that it made perfect sense. What do you mean?
I don't believe him. He has a reason to ruin my life. You're probably hungry now. Let's go hunt and get you settled. Which would you prefer, by the way, tree or cabin?
Don't tell me there's fucking tree houses.
Wait for it. I give him a look which said, "Are you serious? We can live anywhere, so trees are often a choice, even though many prefer the life similar to their original and choose to live in a cabin."
But what does that mean? I feel like anyone can live anywhere. But, like, are you saying, like, you just lean up against a tree? Like, what is living in a tree
Is this
mean?
what you mean by, like, you can do whatever you want? Like, in your brain was like, you could live in a fucking tree house if you want, man.
You could be a fucking Keebler elf.
I don't think it was that nice. I think it was literally like, they have insane survival skills. Like, they don't fucking need a bed. They don't need, like, blankets. They don't need anything. They could go up and, like, because they don't sleep.
Oh, in a branch?
So, yeah, you could, like, it's like, why do you need a house? You don't sleep.
Well, if you want to get changed, if you don't want to be cold.
I play video games in my house. I feel like there's a lot more reasons to have a house than sleeping.
Yeah.
That was the thought process. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that was the thought process.
Would you rather have a furnished home, or would you rather just sling all your shit up on a branch?
Cabin, I said. I'm tired now, but apparently from lack of food, I don't need sleep anymore. I stand up from the bed now, and the world starts to spin again. Derek reaches out to steady me, but I flinch away from him. I steady myself and then walk out the door straight into the forest. There is snow up to my knees. I'm in whitewashed jeans and a nice green blouse, and I'm not cold. Welcome to the world of vampires, where you get
that is clothes. I like that she just described what she was wearing. I honestly, you know, as terrible writing as that is, I wish every character in every book I read was just like, I walked out wearing my jacket and my pants, which are these colors, and I said, "Hello, world."
Oh god, it's such what is that terrible Harry Potter fanfic? My Immortal. It's My Immortal. We're describing every outfit constantly. Derek leads me into an open field and then tells me to expand my senses. So I take a deep breath and focus on the world around me.
Hey, Sydney, could you expand your senses?
I like that she's just about to fucking do this.
Enhance! I just imagine him just screaming enhance at her. Enhance your feelings.
I like to imagine this as a video game now. He's just like, enhance your feelings, and she's just pressing the X button, and she does it.
To enhance your senses.
You can tell I have no patience for, like, actually delving into world building and, like, how the powers and the magic work. Like, it just happens, and we're just...
Or just, like... having things make sense. Like, if someone told me to expand my senses, even if I had magical powers, I'd be like, what?
Just start feeling the wind. Ooh, my senses are enhanced on my brick skin.
Suddenly, the world seems to open up right in front of me. I hear all the birds, squirrels, rabbits. I see the doe standing 2 miles away and smell the scent of fresh blood. To my own disgust, my mouth waters.
How do you, like, you can see the doe standing 2 miles away? If there's something in the way, like, how, do you have X-ray vision now?
I think it's like zooming in on a camera.
Yeah.
Just
oh my god.
Now how about you go after that buck? Northwest, big but not hard to take down. Even more to my disgust, I turn directly towards the northwest, and I don't even know which way is northwest. I can't believe myself. I hate blood. I can't look at my own blood, or anyone else's for that matter. Mostly the reason why I wasn't going to be a doctor.
I like that line's thrown in there. She's like, look, I wasn't going to be a doctor mainly because I hate blood. If it wasn't for that, I totally would have been a doctor. So there's a little bit of information about me. I really enjoy the health profession, but can't stand blood. So
also, is she a fucking bird now? Why could she knows she just has an internal compass now? Is that she has magnets in her brain?
I guess. Before I know it, I'm speeding through the forest, dodging trees and easily going 30 miles per hour without pushing myself at all. I can see the buck by now. It's about half a mile away. Suddenly my body seizes up. I can't move. I'm shaking all over. I'm now down on my knees, yet all I feel is tired, so tired that it hurts, so tired that I just want to sleep. Derek just picks me up and carries me as if I don't weigh 110 pounds. Okay, so I weigh more than that, but nothing's wrong with little positive thinking. Can you tell I was insecure about my weight?
Oh. LMAO.
We don't have time. I'm sure it'll come up if we get to the mirror scene. As he carried me closer to the buck, he whispers, I'll explain later. Just use all the strength you have left to hunt. I'm not complaining this time, so he sets me down beside a bush about 20 feet away from my target. I'm an animal now, caring only about getting my next meal. All senses are being pushed to their highest limitation. I gather my strength, I crouch, wait 2 seconds, then spring, jumping the rest of the 20 feet, landing right on its back. The coarse fur under my hands, I aim and plunge at its neck. As I slowly feel life drain out of the buck, then feel my own return, my thoughts return to normal. I'm guilty, but what's done is done, so I continue feeding it until I'm sure it's dead. I won't let it suffer.
What a graphic scene.
I feel like that buck probably suffered. Just, you're just continually sucking the blood out, like, this is very humane as it, like, writhes under me. And so,
I also like, again, we've seen this throughout the whole piece so far, but there is no learning process. Derek even says, he's like, I'll explain later, and I'll teach you later. Just do everything right now. It's like, no, the training comes first.
It's all instinct. She just knows what to do.
All right.
I extract myself from its carcass. Derek calmly walks over. Not bad for a first-timer. It will get easier in time. I doubt it.
I don't know. That seemed pretty easy to me.
He continues. Your reaction back there was from lack of food. If you starve, there aren't other organs to protect your body, so the reaction can be violent. You won't die, but it won't be fun. You should go to your cabin and get cleaned up. There will be a set of clothes waiting for you. I look down at myself and see I'm covered in blood. My jeans are ripped and there are holes in my shirt. Right now,
not your blouse. Not the green blouse.
Right now, I probably look like a model on the cover of Grunge magazine.
Is that a magazine? I don't think it is.
Not bad, I thought. Not exactly roomy, but cozy. The log cabin look, oak wooden floors, wooden beams on the ceiling, dark wood dresser, matching vanity, a bathroom with a shower, and a spa bathtub. Also, a full living room and a table for two. There is a large bed. There is no coffin.
Oh, comedy!
I also like, she is about to live here on her own, right? And she's like, it's not bad. It's a little small, but it's cozy, whatever. And this is a fucking massive dream home for people.
I'm waiting for Paige to be like, God, I wish I was in a tree right now. It'd be so much fucking better.
Just to rid yourself of all your earthly goods.
Mm-hmm. I wish I was naked in a tree right now. God damn it.
I wish to return to the bushes. Let's see. There is a large bed. There is no coffin. That was practically unused because of the no sleeping thing. The dresser was full of clothes, some simple, some eccentric, a few designer labels, and even a few beautiful silky dresses. So anytime I'm wanted on the red carpet, I'm ready. I go into the bathroom and wash the blood and animal smell off my skin. I also notice if I focus hard enough, I can feel the warm water gently cascading down my back. I finish my shower and pull on some dark denim jeans, plain white shirt, and black boots. They all fit perfectly. One weird thing I noticed while dressing is my stomach, which normally against all my efforts has been pudgy, is now flat as a board. Also,
there it is. There's the YA part of this where
Self-hate.
all of a sudden everyone is beautiful always.
Also, my normally large, thick thighs are skinny. Strangest of all,
boo!
my face is completely
boo!
different.
How time has changed. It's like, nowadays I feel like we're more like, yeah, thick thighs!
It all depends on what your insecurities are. Because, like, skinny
It's
people
true.
want curves a lot of times, especially for black women, a lot of black culture, they want curves. Versus, like, I still see myself in some reflections and go, ooh, girl, no. But it's not healthy and I need to work on that.
And Jack Black wants for nothing. He is
Jack
gorgeous.
Black is great. Did y'all see on Twitter that post where it's like, Jack Black could play any Chris Pratt role, but Chris Pratt can play no Jack Black role?
Oh, Jack Black is a gift to us all.
This is the We Love Jack Black podcast. Jack Black, if you're listening to this, feel free to join the podcast. I'm sure you have old shitty writings from when you were a younger man.
All right. I want to read this part because I have comments on it, and then we'll popcorn over to Chris. So, when I look into the mirror to comb out my curly brown hair, which now has volume it never had before, I think that it's someone else standing in the glass. Only after minutes of stupidly looking at myself did I decide that it was me. Apparently, I now have fuller lips, a slimmer nose, and my skin lacks any freckles or pimples or signs of wrinkles I would have had later in life. So now my not-so-tan skin looks even paler. Also, my extremely weird eyes are framed by longer, darker lashes. My eyes are weird because I have one dark blue eye on my left and a dark brown eye on my right. Blue from my mom, blue from my dad. It's the most
that is not how that works.
I have ever written. And
that's so YA.
I was not a scene kid.
Oh my god, the fucking... I'm adding heterochromia to make my character more interesting.
Yep.
I feel like from her description, she just sounds almost creepy looking. Like, I don't know, if you're a person that has no blemish, no anything, I don't know, there are like filters on Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, that do that to people, and it looks wrong. Like, I don't know, when I see the pictures that are like
beautiful
the perfect, selves. You know, I'm doing air quotes here, but you can't see it because it's a podcast. Yeah. When people try to, do the perfect looking thing with no blemishes or whatever, it just looks wrong. Because, like, I don't know, we all have blemishes, freckles, scars, tattoos, whatever. So, like, if you have none of that on your body, it looks like you're missing something.
Let's see. I still smile when I think about when I was little and insisted Mom always stood on my right and Dad was always on my left. In spite of all the not-so-normal changes, I look, well, pretty. Wow, that's going to be hard to get used to. Ooh.
Fuck off. Oof. Fuck off with that line.
Wow, it's such like a fishing line, too. This seems like something I would say now.
Well, and I don't think it was like me, like young me fishing for like, I want someone to tell me I'm pretty. It was more just being sure, like, if they tell you you're pretty, they're lying. So you're just like so sure of that like low self-esteem.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like it's the like, oh, that makes me feel bad. I want everyone to feel my sadness right now.
All right, Popcorn Chris.
Continuation of Sector 15. My big gay vampire boyfriend. Continuing.
That would have made it more interesting.
Chris is about to write a new script right now.
Everything's a little better with a homo. There's a knock on the door, but instead of waiting for me to answer, Derek just walks right in. How polite. He's so sassy. Hey, so I see you've settled in. Want to go to the community center? They have a ping pong tournament going on. No, I'm still mad at him, if you couldn't tell. Well, there is a movie, or a musical production of Guys and Dolls, or a baseball game going on. Wait, there's just a constant musical production of Guys and Dolls? Like, it's just what we do. The community center has all of that? Wait, vampires have a community center? Out camp does. I'm assuming this is to be our camp does. Our camp does. We have a large cafeteria to get human food, and a community center so huge that anything we want to do happens there. Where are they getting the money for this? How do you get the money? Like,
you don't need money if you're in a YA story.
That's true. Well, I just want to be alone. Is there anything I can get you? There's a store not too far from here. Now he wants to be helpful. Insert eye roll here in parentheses. Oh my god, Sydney, the sass. The absolute sass of it all.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like how you were like, this is where I could get like angst out in your writing. This is where I could get sass out.
Is this your constant inner monologue that we don't know about, Sydney? Is this how you speak in your head?
I don't think so. I think every once in a while there might be a thing, but I feel like I felt the need when I was young, when I wrote, the characters had to be sassy. They had to have attitude. They had to have like some level of like angst and like hating everything and being annoyed with everything.
Fair, valid.
Which actually not too far off from an actual teenager.
I like that all of us, if you look at our old writings, we have sort of the stereotypical characters that you could see. For you, it's sassy people. For Chris, it's just the wacky, insane bullshit.
Yeah.
And for me, it's the duo. One of them's a dummy, the other one is the straight man, and they go on adventures.
Since you can't give me my life back, how about a few books? A sketch pad with art pencils, markers, crayons, colored pencils, camera, decent, not disposable, laptop and TV with DVD player, and a few DVDs. No specification. Just get me Shrek just a bunch of times. If you don't mind. Well, I mean, granted, that's very little. She valued her life very little, that she's like, you know what? You know how you can making my parents think I'm dead forever? How about a TV?
Well,
that'll
it's
do.
just like, what was the point of this dialogue of just, like, listing off shit?
Just you letting her know that she's a boss bitch. She's ready to make demands.
The entire thing could have been done with, I wrote and, like, handed him a list. I also feel like this reflects, like, where we were at technology-wise, because, like, there was no streaming.
Instead of looking worried, Derek calmly smiles and gives a carefree, okay, not a trace of sarcasm. I scowl at him as he walks out the door, as if he owns the place. He just said he was going to do it. I keep myself busy by cleaning up the bathroom. All the cleaning supplies are neatly set under the bathroom sink. Everything was sparkling clean and organized by the time Derek came back. I was sure to keep my mind on the dirt and grime. Nothing more. How is it already dirty?
She took a shower. She covered it in blood.
Well, that's not gonna be everywhere. Maybe she wasn't very, very organized coming in. It's hard to say.
I don't think the feeding was clean, and I don't think the shower after was clean.
Well, if she just, like, tiptoed, there wouldn't be that much blood everywhere.
Chris, I don't think she seems like the type of girl that's gonna tiptoe.
It's true. She's a mess! Once again, Derek knocks, but just walked right in before I asked who is it. Note to self, get a lock. Well, you should have asked for one. Look, it took a while, but I got you a bookshelf for your books. Now I am listening. Books always keep me interested. Strangely enough, though he isn't carrying anything, I can choose between a subtle eyebrow raise or a not-so-subtle, where is it? I go for the not-so-subtle. Where is everything? Wow. What a woman. Back in the van. We can go grab it all. I follow him back out the front of the cabin where a large blue rusty van that is from the 1970s is waiting. Groove! You own a... Was that supposed to be groovy?
Probably.
You own the mystery machine. He just chuckles and opens the trunk. We easily carry everything back into the cabin. Within minutes, I have a fully functioning television, DVD player with several movies. There's a bookshelf with no less than 20 books, a full art setup, and a camera that any world-class photographer would love, and a bright purple laptop. Where did he get these?
Also,
when he was talking about the store.
I like that you listed these things earlier, and now you're just fucking listing them again.
Just to make sure that he did not skimp out on this. And where do you get this in frozen northern Canada? I assumed when he said there's like a store down the way, it's like a 7-Eleven or something.
Yeah,
not
no,
like,
I was thinking that too. I was like, oh, it's gonna be like a ramshackle, like maybe might be like a Walmart or something, but it's like, cool, this is the only store for miles.
Oh my goodness.
You actually probably could get all this stuff from Walmart though. I
guess from a Walmart, but I don't know. He may be a horrible person, aka vampire. Well, that's a cell phone page, darling, because you're a vampire now. But he has great taste. Those two things do not go together. They do not contradict each other. Remembering my manners, I give him a small smile and say, thank you. No problem. We have saved up millions of dollars in various accounts around the world, so spending less than $200 barely makes a dent.
I did not know how money worked.
Yeah, he just spent thousands of dollars.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
He did.
Also, that does not explain how they got their money. It's just like, we just saved it up in accounts. Where was I? We have saved up millions of dollars in various accounts around the world. So spending less than $200, that is $20 for a bookshelf, $30. They are mutual accounts anyone can access. All this stuff should have cost over $3,000 though.
No, $300 is what the line says.
Oh,
over. I like that, Sydney, you went out of your way to correct the $200 doesn't make sense. It should cost $300, which is still way off.
Way low.
All right, continuing my big fat Greek vampire wedding. We have a decent discount at the store since we are very good customers. That's a 95% discount. I decide to think of a way to politely show him the door, only he beats me to it. I have to go do some things. I'll check on you later. You really don't have to do that. I made sure to not emphasize. Emprise. Is that correct? What is emprise?
It was supposed to be emphasized.
But you said emprise.
Sure.
I made sure to emprise this as much as possible. Unfortunately, he just gave me one of his charming smiles and says, I know. I got you unlocked, girl. Don't worry. He leaves, and I head straight for the pile of books. Most I've heard of, a few I've read. All of them I'm sure I'll love. I lie back on my bed and start reading the Da Vinci Code. Oh my God.
My highest
wow,
embarrassment.
Da Vinci Code. Truly the greatest.
I hate that, the people in my life did not realize how shitty the Da Vinci Code is. Because, the actual coding and, research behind it is fascinating, but the story and the writing itself is terrible. And, I know adults, my grandma, and I think my aunt read that book. And so the assumption is, oh, it's a good, smart adult book. And instead, it's a book you read when you're 13, and it makes you feel superior to, other kids your age when it's actually terrible.
So now that we know that Derek has horrible taste, she's gonna be very disappointed.
Well, she also has terrible taste because she picked it up.
She's like, ooh, this Da Vinci Code looks very nice. Right now, being a vampire kind of rocks. Wow, this is a turnaround.
Wait for the turn.
Other than the fact that all my hopes and dreams just spun down the toilet, that is.
And that's the end.
That's the end.
Chapter 1.
Oh my. And now, folks, now that we've finished, I would like to introduce a new segment called Scatology, Lessons from the Shit. In this new segment, we're gonna wrap up some things that we learned from this that we could bring into our current writing. So lesson number 1, maybe pay attention to your tenses. If you jump around, they will get confused and it will not make sense. So make sure you find one and you pick it. Lesson 2, sass. It's hard to do. Lesson 3, love yourself.
Oh, that's a high order. Have you met writers?
I mean, so they don't bog down your writing and it becomes a therapy session.
Yeah, no. I would put it more of use writing as therapy, but don't make it where all of your issues are out there for the world to see. You can disguise it a little bit. Know when putting yourself in the character and when it's just giving character depth.
As long as it doesn't, because I think all of our writing, to some extent, we all put ourselves a little bit in there. So just know that it make sure it's not becoming a almost Mary Sue kind of situation where it's let me fix all of my flaws.
You don't want to Mary Sue, but you also don't want a pity party.
You just want to make characters that are people and not caricatures of your inner feelings.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Let's see. Any other lessons from the shit?
Yes, if you're going to create a world with magic and monsters, vampires, werewolves, whatever, make sure you build out that world and don't just have them doing things with no explanation.
Or you just explain everything in the first page with a giant block of text.
Yep.
Maybe avoid that.
Yeah,
maybe spread it out.
Flesh out the world and explain how and why and all that stuff.
Show, not tell.
Like, take your time, actually world build, because I hate world building, but I like fantasy stories.
And boy, do they require a lot of that.
Yeah, and then lots of more research. I don't think you have to get bogged down in research, but, like, at least do the bare minimum research.
At least Google how much things cost.
I also, like, I don't see it as much in this chapter, because there's another one that is also bad, but I still got a little bit of, like, you don't have to describe every single moment of everything, and you don't need to every scene does not need to take 2 seconds before it's too long and you move along. Because that's still a bad habit I have, where it's like, okay, we had this whole thing where it's her first kiss, and we should have this, like, very, like, maybe take a minute to better describe him, better describe where she's at, like, more of her backstory. And instead it was just like, no, right to the plot.
I think the issue is that we didn't really get any emotion in this script. It was all just like event after event after event and list after list.
I got a lot of emotion. It was just it was just all sass. Angst and sass.
Yep.
I got plenty of that.
Sassy emotions where she was upset and she didn't know how to deal with them, so that is how she dealt with them.
Cool. Well, I think that wraps about everything up. So thank you, Sydney.
Are we doing Shitfic Movie Club or whatever it is?
Good shit. Well, I do want to do good shit because I do want to call out this web series podcast. It's like podcast.
Is it ours?
Companion web series. I do want to just give a shout out to Wayward Guide for the Unseen Eye. It's produced and created by the Tin Can Brothers. They actually just released their final podcast today. The heart's in the right place for the series, and I love all of the actors and a lot of the creators on it. It was so fun, and I want more people to see it.
I've been listening to Wuthering Heights, but by Kate Bush. I haven't really been watching enough, and this is a great segment.
Okay, so I want to thank everyone for listening to our wonderful podcast. I want to thank Ryan for doing the wonderful song you heard at the beginning of this podcast. You can follow him at Rytuck Music on Twitter, Instagram, all that cool stuff. He's out there in the world and he makes great things. You can follow us on our various social medias. I usually read those off, but because we have our producer on this podcast, I'll let her do it. So Sydney, promote us as the producer. I'll let you
I like how you made that seem like it was such a great honor.
So if you want to follow us on basically any of the social media, we are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, and we are on TikTok. All three are under the same handle at @sh_tfic.
Make sure to like, subscribe. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. I want to thank Sydney. I want to thank Sydney for hosting this podcast and creating it and just being amazing. I want to thank myself for joining in, and I want to thank Chris for just being
did someone say my name? Did someone say my name? It is me, the great Con Pagliacci.
That a man could ever love.
Did you shout out Samantha?
Thank you, Chris. And I want to shout out Samantha, who does all of our promotions for us. She's great. Everyone's great. You're great, listener. Just keep that in mind, that you're awesome.
Share.
Yeah, I already said that. I've said everything, so it's time to wrap this up. So everyone, have a wonderful rest of your night. I'm going to hit the stop record button right now. Boop.
Yeah.